If you've been thinking about making a move to the Plainfield area and you're wondering exactly what your budget's going to get you in the roughly $450,000 range, I'm going to break that down for you today. About 10 years ago, $450,000 used to get you a luxury home here in the Plainfield area. Today it looks a little bit different. Hi, I'm Elyse and I help people in Plainfield, Oswego, and the surrounding suburbs make great decisions about real estate. Plainfield is going to see a huge swing in home values, and the reason for that is that we have homes that were built in the early 1900s all the way up to homes that are actively being built today. We have single-family homes, we have townhomes. We don't have a ton of condos, but we do have a few. And Plainfield is just huge. On a typical rush hour day, to get from the absolute north end of Plainfield to the absolute south end of Plainfield, if you're going down Route 59, which is kind of like the heart of the town, could take up to a half an hour. So it's a really big city. So what you're gonna see here is, on average, most of your townhouses are going to run between $250 and $325 to $350. Now you will have a small niche of more luxury style townhouses. These are bigger townhouses that live like a single family home, meaning they have a basement, they're going to be over 2,000 square feet, they're just a little bit bigger. Those ones are going to be more in the $350 to $450 range. We also have brand new construction townhouses that are selling between $475,000 and $600,000. So you get a really big range here. On average, if you want to purchase your quintessential starter townhome in the Plainfield area, you're probably looking at being between $300,000 and $350,000. That's going to open up the most options for you. When it comes to single family homes, I'm going to kind of break this down by the north half of Plainfield and the south half of Plainfield. And when I'm talking about that, what I mean by the north half of Plainfield is anything north of Renwick, roughly. So an easy landmarker would be the downtown area and further north. And then when we talk about South Plainfield, we're going to talk about anything south of there. And the reason we break it down is because we really do have two very distinct markets with very distinct pricing in Plainfield. So when we start on the south side of Plainfield, so again, we're looking at roughly downtown and south, really Renwick Road and south. $450,000 is going to get you a great single family home. You're looking at possibly 2,000 square feet with some moderate updates. Maybe it's got a finished basement, maybe it's got a little bit more of a custom backyard space. Or it could be larger. You could be more in the 2,600 to 2,800 square foot range, and maybe it's more of those traditional original finishes or builder grade finishes. If you want to go with something that's a little bit more luxury, a little bit more fancy, a little bit more custom, it's going to be smaller. You will find that in that price range down there. By smaller, I'm still talking about a single family home. So you're still going to have 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a 2-car garage, a basement. You're going to have a yard. It's just all going to be a little bit smaller. So instead of being maybe 2,200 square feet, it's maybe 1,800 square feet. By and large, $450,000 in the south end of Plainfield is going to get you an absolutely fantastic starter home. Now, this may not be the home that you choose to live in when you are in your highest earning years of your career, especially if you're a double income family. Now, this may be the type of home that you start at. This is the home that you are bringing home your babies. This is the home that you move into when you are freshly married. Or this is the home that really when you are trying to get your footing under you that you start in, you may select to only live in this home for 5 to 10 years before you sell it and you swap. This may not be the kind of home that you want to live in for the next 40 years. It might be. It kind of goes either way in that direction. When we're talking about the north end of Plainfield, so again, this is really anything north of downtown, anything north of Renwick, what $450,000 is going to get you, it's going to look a little bit different. So you may find a couple small pockets in here where you can still get a single family home that is going to cater to a growing family. What I mean by that is it's 2,000 square feet or larger. It's 3 or 4 bedrooms. It's got the 2.5 bathrooms. It's got a basement. There's not a ton of them up here. And if they are, they're in neighborhoods where the feel of the neighborhood is just very simple. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great neighborhood. They've got great schools. Some of them have pools and clubhouse communities. There's just not as many to choose from. By and large, in North Plainfield, for roughly $450,000, what you're going to be looking at is Some single family older homes. We do have a couple pockets of homes that were built in the 50s and 60s. These tend to be either ranches or raised ranches. We've got a couple of tri-levels as well. You may find them to be updated. Not as many of them have been. Now, when they're not updated, they tend to be more affordable. You're talking $350,000 to $400,000. Once they've been updated, depending on the size and depending on the lot, they will start to push past that $450,000 range and start touching as high as $500,000. But they do exist. They are smaller. For $450,000, the majority of homes that you are going to see in North Plainfield are going to be between 2,000 and 2,500 square feet. A lot of them are going to have the original builder grade finishes. Most of them will have been built between the late 90s and the early 2000s. So when I say builder grade, I mean oak cabinets. You're probably looking at the wood stain trim. You may have had some small updates depending on the other details of the home. If the home has a 3-car garage at $450,000, it probably hasn't been updated a ton. If it has a 2-car garage, you may see a kitchen facelift. You may see the trim having been changed out to the trendy white. You may see that a bathroom or two has been done. By and large, the majority of homes in the Plainfield area were built up between the late 1990s and the early 2000s, which means that most of them do offer an open floor concept. Most of them will have bedrooms that are a decent size, something that you can not only have an infant in, but also have a high school student in. They do offer a good amount of closet space. You'll start seeing more and more of the ancillary bedrooms, meaning the bedrooms that aren't the primary bedroom, having walk-in closets. You'll start seeing a couple homes as we push further into the budget that have a princess suite, which means another bedroom that has an ensuite bathroom. You are going to start seeing a little bit more of those modern touches just based on when the homes were built. The majority of the single-family homes are 2-story homes. We don't have a ton of raised ranches and tri-levels because of when most homes were built. The majority of your townhouses are also going to be 2-story or the English style townhouses. When I say English style, I mean your garage is kind of in the back of the home. It comes into a family room or a living space. You go upstairs to your kitchen and your main living space, and then upstairs again into your bedrooms. When it comes to lot size in Plainfield, you're going to see very traditional suburban lots. And what I mean by that is roughly 0.18 acres on the low end of things up to 0.33, roughly a third of an acre on the high end of things. The majority of lots in the Plainfield area are going to be a traditional suburban lot, which means it's going to be 0.1 acres on the low end of things up to roughly a third of an acre on the large end of things. This is going to be for most neighborhoods in this price range, right? The reason you see the variety in that comes back to when the homes were originally built. So the builders, when they have the entire neighborhood mapped out, they will designate some lots as premium lots. These are going to be things like the back of a cul-de-sac. The back of a cul-de-sac, because the house sits on a pie-shaped lot, it's got a really big backyard that offers more space. That may be more of a third of an acre lot. Your corner lots, possibly more of a third of an acre lot. You'll have some lots that back to open space or some lots that back to larger, busier roads that don't have neighborhoods behind them. Those may be a little bit larger, but overwhelmingly in the $450,000 range, you are looking at a quarter of an acre, give or take. Most of the neighborhoods in the $450,000 range are going to have some minor amenities. Now, when I say minor amenities, I mean most of them will have playgrounds. Most of them will have some kind of designated walking trails beyond just your normal sidewalks. You will find a couple of neighborhoods that have HOAs, homeowners associations, that have a clubhouse and pool. It's not super common, but there are a couple of them. Of course, there are fees that come along with that, but in exchange, you're getting access to a pool, a clubhouse. Sometimes there's tennis courts, pickleball courts, some of those more lifestyle amenities. Now let's touch base on what $450,000 does not get you in Plainfield. $450,000 will not buy you a luxury home in the Plainfield area. It will not buy you a brand new home in the Plainfield area. It will not buy you a home in downtown Plainfield that's been fully updated and is walkable. What it will buy you is a fantastic starter home for your family in a great community that is built up, has plenty of amenities, and has very well-established schools. Who is this price point perfect for? It's a fantastic purchase option for buyers that are relocating from Chicagoland, for step-up buyers, for someone that is selling maybe a townhouse or a condo and wants to get into their first single-family home. It's a perfect price point for buyers that are just getting their feet wet in home ownership. Maybe they waited a little bit before they purchased their first home and they don't want to go too crazy on price point. It's a fantastic price point for someone that is looking for an established community that's got great schools that they can feel comfortable raising their family in. It also is a fantastic option for buyers who have been priced out of Naperville for the size and the details and the specifics of the home that they're looking for. One insider tip when you're buying a house in Plainfield is make sure you keep a really close eye on the property taxes. We will see huge swings in property taxes, not just from the north end of town to the south end of town. We'll see swings of $3,000 to $4,000 from one street to another, depending on the neighborhood and the specifics of the style of construction and what the home offers. So make sure you really pay close attention to that. It will make a much larger difference in your monthly payment than the purchase price. If you're thinking of buying in Plainfield and you want a list of properties in this $450,000 range, we've got a link below. Go ahead and click it, enter in your information, and we'll get that sent over to you. Always happy to help.